Hello. Good morning. Oh, I remember when I used to work at a couple other places, and then people used to always tell me, "Good morning." And I used to say, not me, this woman that used to come in used to say, "I don't know what's so good about it, but good morning, we're live." Episode 4, episode 5. I believe we're episode 4. Episode 4 it is. So, anyways, from my previous episode, I said, "Am I a Republican?" This episode is is entitled "Are Black People Voting for Trump?" Are Black People Voting for Trump? We'll turn you there a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't fall down. Hopefully you can see my dirty eyes, my teeth and everything. Anyways, are Black people voting for Trump? Okay, first, let me start off by saying this. Trump is a businessman. And when you're a businessman, there are certain qualities that come with a businessman, from being dirty cricket and all that. So if you want to ask me, hey, is Trump dirty? Is Trump cricket? Is Trump whatever we want to input about businessman and Trump, that we can say he is all of those. The other thing you can also say about myself, though, um, do I think, i.e., businessman Trump, is for poor people? My answer still would probably be no, because uh, a lot of businessmen in general are not from poor people. They are for, if you help yourself up and hold on yours, and what you should do. But do I feel like Trump is he going to go out and give people money? That question is no. Does Trump have qualifiers that put him and all the other businessmen that you probably know? Yes. Has he stepped out on his wife? Yes. Has he, finagled some laws? Yes. But like I'm saying, I believe that they're all the same. So once we get that out, um, does he have frivolous lawsuit? Yes. What businessman or business person that you know that doesn't? Right? So take that as a qualifier. Um, the other thing is, do I think he's a good person? And that question is probably not. So I'm saying all this, and I'm saying, are Black people voting for Trump? I'm just letting you know all of these qualifiers that what this guy is, and in actuality, no, he's probably not a good person. Do I think he's a Christian? Even that answer is no. Right? So I'm telling you, no, 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 no. And since I started out like this, I know the other side's gonna say, well, why do you think they're voting for him, or even why are you voting for him? Didn't say I was voting for him. But my thing is, if I said that about them, I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of what the other side is. So back to me in today. Cool. So let's start this out. So yes, I am Black, Melon. You can see me, Black, Christian, American, and all three of those can interchange whatever throughout. It depends, like what time of the day it is, and how I feel at that certain time. But in actuality, I should be Christian first, and then American, and then Black. That's how it should be. But just so I know that 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 I'm human, and you know this is a journey for me as well. It's already long-winded. So, like I said, let's get back to it. Are Black people voting for Trump? Well, first of all, let me start off saying, like, I believe this. Me myself, when I was younger, when I was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna vote," everyone around me was Democrat, right? So I feel that people who look like me, we have been voting Democrat for years, right? Because just because, not necessarily, just because, and some of, I guess, quote unquote, earlier on the policy that was presented to us. I always felt, and still to a certain degree, I always felt that the the Democrats themselves treated kind of people better, right? And they didn't necessarily make excuses for slavery. Um, they, in a sense, they tried to, we'll say, they tried to, well, they tried to help per se. Um, and so growing up, I'm like, oh, these guys, quote unquote, speak to me. And you can probably say that everyone around me was a Democratic household because of, what the Republicans kind of like stood for. We go back to like certain heroes, like everyone had their Reagan, everyone had, there's certain, hero Republicans, and everyone had, their hero Democrats. Like, I guess at around the time we had like Bill Clinton. And it seemed like issues that like affected me, the Democrats addressed, and they talked to me. I mean, I always felt that the Democrats didn't necessarily run away from America's first sin, and they tried to fix it. Whereas the Republicans would say like, "Who cares?" Right? And and since that happened, I myself voted voted Democrat a lot. But also growing up, my dad wasn't, we didn't believe in the victimhood, right? You're not victim. So even though America was like that, right? I had altercations with cops, right? And all that stuff. And that was America. And people will say, they'll give you stats, whatever it might be. Um, I did not necessarily let that affect who I was in my day-to-day decisions. Day-to-day decisions meaning that I didn't necessarily go into a job and say, hey, i.e., they're not going to hire me because I'm black. And who knows, maybe times that could be it. But that wasn't my mindset. I would go in there and work hard. But even though it's in the outcome, they might treat me a little bit different. A different spin on further action. But that would, I wouldn't let that dictate like who I was. Now, probably in the voting booth, I was like, okay, cool. The Dems might be for this, and the red might be for this. Even though I was living my life a certain way, I was like, okay, at least they acknowledge the problem. I don't necessarily think that the Republicans are quote unquote acknowledge the problem, because I always just thought it was funny, like even my father, he worked triple harder, he was smart in the whole 9 yards, and he still dealt with the same thing. Um, in America, I mean, they'll tell you something different, but he didn't. That never let him. That never let him stop from becoming who he was. And then plus, I also felt that the Democratic Party was the party of the working people, right? And I felt that I'm 50 years old, and I felt that, very long-winded here. I felt that that's who they were talking to, right? Now, as I'm going to be transitioning to the place where I work, I work with, we'll say these are workers, from construction workers to drivers to plumbers to all this. And a lot of these people look like me. And one guy came up to me and we were talking about the debate. And he goes, "Well, who do you think won that debate?" I was like, "If I'm being honest, Carmelo won." And then he told me, he said, "Yeah." He goes, "Brother, I'm voting for Trump." And I look at him I'm like, okay, cool, man. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you voting for Trump because I necessarily don't care, and this is one of the reasons why I don't necessarily don't care. And back to the black thing. And yeah, this is black. This is a black guy, black worker, one of my drivers, and he said I'm voting for Trump. I was like, man. I said I don't care like who you vote for. I mean, we can still be cool. Um, and I said, why? He goes, well, one of the reasons why I'm voting for Trump, he said, Trump said no taxes on overtime. And I'm going to stop right there and pivot a tiny bit. And I said before, I kind of felt that the Democrats, when I was growing up, was for the poor working class, right? Now, when he said that, and I talked to a couple other black folks, and they were saying the same thing, whether it be, paying overtime, or whether it be the economy, right? And I remember when the Democrats had a strong hold on that, but I feel that they've left that. And I'm looking at this black fellow, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "If you vote for Trump," I said, "I don't care." I said, "I understand, because 4 years ago, your grocery wasn't they were not as high as they were. 4 years ago, the gas wasn't as high as they were. 4 years ago, the housing wasn't as high as they were." And as I'm talking to this black guy, and I said, "I understand." I said, "If you're voting for Trump, I get that." And like I tell these other people, I get that, because those issues are important to you, just like I will probably say most black folks. But if you're a woman, if reproductive rights is your issues, then vote for that. So I mean, that was just a small segment, a long way to get to the drinking hole. But I told him, I was like, "Yeah, vote." And like all these other black and even like Hispanic, all these like these workers, they said they voted for Trump for that reason. Um, Besides the character, like I started out, because they said to them, to these people, it is, we're hurting, and it is a struggle now. Whether you're black, white, yellow, green, or purple, we are hurting. And and if you vote for the dim sides, you understand like those issues, those reproductive rights, not telling what to do. Cool, that's good. But these guys that they're telling me, son, they need to eat a little bit cheaper. Their rent needs to be a little bit this, and they need to keep certain rights. And so like that's the difference. And then what's weird is, because as I turn off here, is what's weird is that those black people align with a lot of conservative principles, whether it be like guns, church, and religion. And that's kind of crazy to me. So yeah, that's it. I didn't necessarily have a beginning or an end, just rambling. So completely different. So that's episode. We're going to like 4 or 5, whatever. That's it. Like, subscribe, please. Whew. That was long. It's already 9 o'clock.